Yeah, another fucking day, bro.
Another day, man. Let me see if this actually does the orientation is locked. Okay. We
Yeah.
gotta keep it right here. See if people are hopping on right now. How you doing, bro? Of
Good. Another day,
Good.
just executing on what the fuck we gotta do. And
Course.
you, how you doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Same old, same old. Nothing new.
You know how
Nothing
it
new.
is. You know exactly how it is, bro.
But yeah, man, we can kick this off. So for the people who are joining, this probably over time, but our whole topic today, unlike last time where we talked a little bit about, being the man in the arena, all of that, we're going to be talking about masculine versus feminine energy and how you can implement both for transformation in your life, specifically for business, of course,
Yep.
because obviously that's what Dwight specializes in the most besides the spirituality stuff, but and I can touch on that as well, and we'll open it up to some Q&A towards the end for if anybody has any questions. We are not letting any of you guys on live yet. Autopsy report is not starting. It will start very soon, but for now, we'll get into it. So, yeah, bro, like you can kick it off because I mean, this is kind of your space. What
Yeah.
have you experienced in terms of masculine versus feminine energy? First, define both of them so people know.
Okay. So masculine and feminine energy go together, right? You can't separate them, and when you try to separate them, it becomes chaos, and you're not going to be able to hold it. Hold what you're looking to hold at a specific
Mm-hmm.
level, because to create, you have to have both, right? Everyone thinks it's just
Mm-hmm.
about the sex, right? It's not just, oh, male and female. No, 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 no. These are literally the energetic signatures of how things operate. So
Mm-hmm.
if masculine energy is all about structure and discipline, right? It's a container, so to say. And that means your routine and the way that you systemize and structure your life is based upon your masculine energy, right? And
Mm-hmm.
because you were born a man, you were gifted that energy in essence,
Mm-hmm.
right? That doesn't mean that you don't have feminine energy in you. It just means that your predominant energy signature is masculine. And so to
Mm-hmm.
execute, you have to be able to have that energetic masculine structure slash
Mm-hmm.
discipline within your everyday life. Then when you start to then attract or polarize yourself all the way to masculine, you're going to attract the feminine energy. Feminine energy is abundance, cash flow, women, right? And so that then comes into your container, and your ability to hold it is dependent on how structured you are as a masculine energy or a masculine male, right? And a lot of men where the problem starts to become is when they have leaks within that frame or that
Mm-hmm.
structure. Therefore, then when the feminine energy shows up, because you've now polarized yourself enough for feminine energy to show up, it comes within your container, but you have leaks, you have fractures, and so it doesn't stay. Money comes to you, it falls out. Women come to you, they don't stay. Opportunities come, you fail or flop the opportunity because your structure was not intact. And that's all your masculine energy. So when you have masculine energy and feminine energy, you then combine them and you get exactly what you're desiring. And that's the key component to taking on the identity that you want to live with it. Right. And that's what we spoke about the last live was
Mm-hmm.
to embody the identity of an executor or a user or someone within the arena. You have to know how to operate with these two energies
Mm-hmm.
together, because you can't
Mm-hmm.
separate them and get where you want to go,
No.
right? So I'll let you can then you can piggyback on that in your experience, bro.
Yeah, bro. I mean, for me, I've noticed that a lot of, by the way, do you hear like a background noise at all or like some echoing or is it just me?
You're good.
Oh, that's just me. I'll just
You're
skip that.
solid.
But
Yeah, you're good.
essentially, the big thing that I've noticed is that there's a lot of men who essentially have big time feminine energy and not enough masculine energy, right?
Yep.
But they
Yep.
also don't understand how to translate the feminine energy into using it as a transformation
Right.
vehicle versus
Right.
as a live embodiment of who they are. I do believe with men, it's
Mhm.
80% masculine. That's what I think the ratio should be, and 20% feminine for the most part
Sure.
nowadays, because there's such a big shift towards, okay, how can we feminize as many men as possible, right, to the point where men have embodied the feminine trait now at 80% and now they have the masculine trait or the masculine energy as 20%. So if you can start to embody a lot of the masculine energy to start, just to get the foundation, obviously the physical side of things being like physicality, the dominance part of everything, the mindset part of everything,
Right.
then you can start to get into the feminine, which is the transformation of your actual spirit, like who you are, all the traumas that you have. Only the feminine energy can solve that. The masculine energy can't do that. So that's where we
Right.
have the imbalance when it comes to the alpha males that are out right now that are pushing 100% masculine. No, be 100% masculine.
Mhm.
Just leave your feminine energy. So that's
Right.
where you get a lot of these guys who are watching them that are still broke.
Right.
Because the only way, like you said, to make money is through the feminine energy. The masculine energy,
Literally.
you can use it for dominance when it comes to closing deals, when it comes
Hmm.
to things of that nature.
Hmm.
But when it comes to like transforming everything,
Yep.
in terms of yourself, all of those inner blocks that you have, all of those subconscious leaks that you have that are keeping you stuck, that's the thing that you need to face the most.
Yep.
And most people just don't do that. So that's what
Yeah.
I've noticed.
They're empty. They're empty. Right. They and to explain it, you said it perfect. Where today's agenda is now to deframe or deconstruct men in their masculine energy, right? And so men are looking for an outlet to find masculine energy, but watching it is only a piece of it, right? They
Mhm,
might have not had the masculine men in their life that should have gave them the ability to understand how to operate in this world. Because a lot of families don't, right? That people like men go through loops, and there's psychological things that their parents didn't break, and like we spoke about the last time, they then give them their identity, and their
mhm,
entire life they're working on other relationships to show them who they are, right? So
mhm,
realistically, they're empty and they never adopt the actual masculinity that they know they should have. And so they watch people instead,
mhm,
right? And but at the same time, that over masculine hype with no feminine essence is why people stay broke. Just like you
mhm,
said. Feminine energy is where all the creation comes from. The
mhm,
creation with coupled with your masculine energy, because you have to be able to close a deal with other men and or women to get money to flow. So if you don't know or understand yourself enough to be able to create from a feminine space, you're never going to get money that you're looking for,
mm-mm,
right? So if we're to dig even a bit deeper, the masculine push of these men are so flawed because they think that being soft to a degree is going to diminish their structure, right?
mhm,
And a lot of these masculine men are playing off of the loops of other men, of weaker men.
mhm,
They're not trying to help you and build you up. They're trying to live
mhm,
off of you, right?
mhm,
Because they understand, whether they're consciously thinking about it or unconsciously, they understand that you're weak. And to feed off of you, they understand all we need to do is feed you masculine energy nonstop, because that's the thing that you're desiring the most.
mhm,
But we'll never reveal to you that the very spirit that we're in to create this content, the very
mhm,
spirit that we're in to create these courses, so to say, or even to teach, is a feminine energy. But they never talk about that because they perceive it as weakening the masculine message that they push out all the time. And so weak men
agreed.
never grasp enough of a structure to understand that the leaks that they have are the very things that these people are holding from them. So you have to be able to teach both at the same time to get men to where they're looking to go.
I agree. And I'm gonna address the comment section because I've been seeing some bullshit. All of
Oh,
you
perfect.
guys that are talking, that are saying shit that don't make sense, if your IQ is so low that you have to do that shit, you need to leave. I'll find you, I'll block you, I'll do whatever the fuck I need to do. But all of you, I don't know where y'all came from, but and I know a lot of you guys are broke too. That's why you think the way that
That's
you
the
think.
problem. Yeah.
But y'all got to get the fuck out for real. I don't
Let,
tolerate shit like that.
let, let
But
them go
anyway,
on with their bullshit. But go ahead.
back to what the fuck we were talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because I always tried to reject the feminine energy since I was young, right?
Mhm.
Where I'm at a point where, everything my mom had the nurturing, right? And I would always reject
Sure.
it. I'd always reject the word love. I'd always reject all these different things.
Mhm.
And that would definitely get me to a point where I couldn't even open up when it came to talking to, even customers. Like I
Mhm.
found myself closed off.
Hmm.
right? Where, the masculine is like, oh, rah, rah, this, and that. But when
Right.
you're talking to a customer, there's a lot of finesse that you need to have that only works with the feminine energy, like conversation.
Hmm.
And I like to call it like almost like ethical manipulation
Right.
that comes from the feminine energy. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it's
Right.
interesting. It's very interesting to see how the feminine energy can take you very, very far, but there's too many men who teeter on one side because that's the thing. It's like if you have both, you can dominate the world. You can dominate everything because
Literally.
you'll start to understand how people think. You'll start to understand how people move.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just masculine, you're blind to a lot of shit. And that's why a lot of men stay in the gym. They stay in
Hmm.
the gym because all they do is they fucking lift, lift, lift because that's primal, that's masculine. But then when
Facts.
you tell them to go into the business arena, nah, I can't do that. That's too
Right.
much.
Exposes them.
Exposes them too much
Mm-hmm.
because, and this is what people don't understand, business is actually more feminine than it is masculine. I truly believe that. And
Yeah.
you can dive into that too.
Yeah. But business definitely has its piece of femininity in it, and it's at an abundant rate, right? Because
Yeah.
again, if we talk about money
Hmm.
exchange is feminine, right?
Hmm.
The only thing that keeps money exchange in a specific way or route is based upon the masculine energy, right? So
Hmm.
when you jump into business and you realize that a lot of this money that you're garnishing is coming from the feminine spirit or the feminine energy that you have, and the other
Hmm.
person's ability to recognize it, right? Because if we're going to move in abundance, we must both then appreciate the fact that we're both creators
Hmm.
and users within the same arena see each other. Like you and I
Hmm.
understand that we create from our both our platforms and the way that we run our communities or our ability to teach men, right?
Hmm.
And you come from your creative space, and I come from my creative space, and that
Hmm.
acknowledgement of creation or the feminine energy is what allows us to connect and communicate efficiently.
Hmm.
But there are then the masculine boundaries that we don't cross,
Yeah.
right? We know not to cross them already, right? If you had to take a man off the census, you would do so,
Hmm.
and so would I. So
Hmm.
when two men respect each other at a level, all it is that that structure allows them to recognize each other to see what is going on and make sure that we don't cross certain boundaries. But then when it's time to exchange value based upon the creative energy, which is feminine, we can do so
Hmm.
seamlessly with certain boundaries.
Hmm.
And that's literally what business is. That's why a lot of old timers, when they look to do business, they do it off of a handshake. Because I trust your masculine energy enough that you don't falter on the thing that you just told me you would do, and vice
Hmm.
versa. But I'm gonna allow you to do your and execute on your value with the feminine energy that you have because that's where it's coming from. So,
Good, good. And somebody actually asked a really good question. They said, "Does energy only exist as masculine or feminine?"
well, there's only two genders, right? And not to make
We
this
going that route?
not
Oh,
to make this
shit.
not to make this political, at an energetic level, there are only two genders in energy: masculine for structure, feminine for creation. With those two together, you get like whatever you're looking to create, right? So
Hmm.
you have to understand that basis. And once we both can agree that, okay, cool, those are the two energies that create the realm, end of story,
Hmm.
right? And that's nothing political. That's not saying anything about anyone's preferences or anything, because think about it. If we were to even go that route, once you diverge from the two, right, and you start to then create your own, it still comes back to the two. I
Hmm.
don't care if you're
Hmm.
whatever orientation you want to play, you're either going to play a masculine or a feminine role, point blank, period. Or you're going to say you have both, which we all do.
Which
So
we all do. Yeah.
realistically, it's coming from two. So yes, there are only
Hmm.
two energetic signatures, which are masculine or feminine.
And that's, I think, what people are trying to kind of go against. They're trying to basically say like, oh no, like there's different types. There's like and you get the gender shit right, where it's like Z zer zers, fucking Zex I don't even fucking know, right? And
Yeah.
that's very important, man. And somebody even asked, they're like, how do you increase masculine energy? So, from what I've learned, the biggest thing is one, you have to be a man of your word. So, as in, you have to be somebody who, what you say you're going to do, you do it, regardless of how you feel. If you say some shit, because that's trust, and that's a big thing, right? The second thing you have to do is always be relentless. Always. You always have to be doing shit consistently, regardless. Again, it's always about getting beyond your emotions. If you want to increase your
Right.
masculine energy, you have the emotions, you observe the emotions, but you
Yep.
don't act within those emotions. That's
Yep.
more of the feminine side of things.
Yep.
And most men, they always fight on their emotions. They always do shit based on how they feel. They can't get up in the morning because they don't feel good.
Right.
That's feminine energy.
Hmm.
100%. When you see a woman, a lot of women they like to stay in the bed late. They wake up at like 11. You as a man, you're gonna get up regardless of how you feel, and that's the thing. Like you can't fake masculine energy at all. You'll feel
Hmm.
it. And I even know this because even the pets that I have, my dog, my cat, they fucking know who the masculine person is and they know who the feminine person is. There was a guy who came in who was feminine. The dog tried to hump his leg. That motherfucker would never do that shit with me and just stand there. He just stand and look and be like, okay, he's him. Okay, he's the masculine figure here. The cats
Right.
know what's up. But then
Right.
the minute somebody comes in with a lot of feminine energy, that's why animals can read shit. You can't fake shit with animals. That's
For
one.
sure.
And you also can't fake shit with people who can see real shit around you.
Who
There are
know it?
men who can sniff that shit out from a mile away.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? And it's not posturing. It's not about posturing like how broad you are and you wearing all these fucking tight clothing with some crazy shit and you that's not masculinity. That's cosplay.
Literally. Yeah,
And I
and
think
like,
keep
go ahead,
going.
go ahead. Um, you can't, like you said, you can't fake it. There's no faking it at all, right? And there's a part of you that I don't think it's about the increase; it's about the acceptance of it, right? So you
Hmm.
don't necessarily increase your masculinity because you're born with it, whether you
Sure.
like it or not, right? It's whether you embody it or you
Reclaim
hide
it.
it.
Hmm.
You have to claim it as a man. Like once it's there, like once you're born a male, you have the masculine energy because that is what created you to be a male.
Hmm.
BT dub, like by the way. Right.
Hmm.
So it's when you're running from it and you are running from the identity that you know you'll have to let go of, which will make you have to then compete within the masculine realm because our realm is very different from the feminine realm, right? There's a hierarchy
Very.
scale. And when you realize, oh shit, I'm coming in at a disadvantage simply because whether your whatever your life experiences are or whatever your cards were dealt, you might be short, you might have a skinny thing that you got in your mind, you might feel like you're not whatever you have
Hmm.
going on in your brain. You try to hide your masculinity and so you try to adopt this victimhood to think that
Hmm.
I don't have enough. You have
Hmm.
enough. You just don't want to compete because the
Hmm.
bullshit that is going to expose out of you is that you're truly a coward,
Hmm.
right? And that's why a lot of people run into comments like that. Like, I don't even read these shits, right? Simply because I understand a lot of folk only come on the internet to posture. Motherfucker, if you stood with
Of
us in
course.
a room, you'd be exposed very quickly. The two of us would destroy you in a heartbeat.
This makes me want to like add people in and just put them on the
On the
screen just so
screen,
people can see who's talking this shit. But
bro. It's honestly ridiculous, and it's simply because people understand the cards that they've been dealt, and they know that
mhm.
the life of a male is about hierarchy, and
Yes,
they never want to take the low route to claim the fact that they are a coward, right? You'd never survive a day of our life, like you
it's tough.
couldn't. It's a real thing. So
I
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I think I want to touch on the hierarchy part because I think that's what's keeping a lot of men from taking risks and doing more with their life because they're afraid of exposing themselves to the feedback loop of I'm actually lower on the hierarchy scale. I
Right.
think the internet has fucked everything up because
Literally.
you can be anonymous, you can literally not have your face and try to act
Yep.
like you're a tough guy, right?
Yep.
You
Yep.
don't even have to put yourself out there. But
Yep.
at the end of the day, in real life, that hierarchy is there. And when you walk into a room and you see certain guys, that hierarchy is there. And you have to now take that feedback loop like, shit, I gotta sit my ass down right now.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? This isn't my turn. And I felt that before when I was developing. It's like when I get into the real world and I see somebody and shit like that, I can tell where I'm sitting at on the hierarchy, and I have to respect that as a man. But there's a lot
Mhm.
of people nowadays that don't do that. They
Mhm.
disrespect a lot of people, especially on the internet, because it's easy. It's
Right.
easy to fake the hierarchy on the internet.
Right.
I've seen that shit where like you meet somebody that you thought was somebody on the internet, and then you see him in real life, and you're like, bro, that is not you. All the posturing, that shit is crazy.
And let me address this point real quick so that people actually feel comfortable to still comment. It's not that we don't interact or engage with the people that's commenting. And when we said that, it wasn't about the guys who are asking genuine questions,
Constructive
right?
questions.
Constructive questions to add to the conversation. We're speaking about the fools, the folk that talk the bullshit, for lack of a better word. So yeah, 100% correct. People can, if the internet is all about perception, and you and I both know that. So when people put out their perception and it's not truly who they are, when you run into them on the streets and they're totally different, that's why, right? And that's all based upon someone's acceptance of either their masculine energy or their feminine side, right?
Hmm.
Because it's literally, you have the taking. Both energies exist within you. Which
Hmm.
one do you gravitate to? Because it's easy. And a lot
Hmm.
of men, they
Hmm.
they run to the feminine side because it's easier, right?
It's very
It's 10
easy.
times easier. The fuck, all you got to do is
Hmm.
flow and allow your emotions to sway your actions, and you don't have to operate with discipline, and you can do as you feel instead of having to
Manifest.
right. You can sit in a corner and have shit manifest instead of actually working for the thing that you're looking for, right? So it's all about who you, or what side you lean towards and adopt as your own. And when you understand that you come from a masculine place
Hmm.
and you can listen to your own voice, which is already masculine if you're a male, you
Hmm.
will then already be leaning towards structure. But you're going to get hit with a hurdle of knowing that you have to now enter the game with all the rest of the masculine men. And that exposes you to what you're ready for or not. And if you
Yeah.
can't accept the fact that I might be a coward to
Hmm.
jump into the game, then you're
Hmm.
never going to jump into the game, and you're going to sit there and be swayed by frequencies outside of you that
Hmm.
want you to be more feminine. Because the more masculine you are, the less bullshit you put up with, right? Because you fully understand your voice and what you're doing. Go ahead.
I agree, and I think the biggest thing too is like people conflate or they misconstrue masculinity with some like I said cosplay. Like they think about like all the little reels and shit that they see all the time. The basis of it is how much responsibility can you bear. Like
Mm-hmm.
masculine men, it's all about bearing responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
The feminine side is all about nurturing responsibility. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. Bearing responsibility versus nurturing the responsibility. If
Right.
we cut it down to like the bare bones of what the dynamic looks like. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a guy who even brought a point up that I think is interesting that we haven't touched on. I don't think we were going to, but I think it's important. Why do ladies like bad boys more than nice guys?
You got it
And this
first,
is
gang. You got it
huh?
first. You know that's you. You got it first.
So the thing with that is nice guys are fake. That's the thing that people don't realize. Nice guys. So you have to understand from a female perspective, they're biologically inclined to read you at a spiritual level. Like they can understand the fakeness within you without saying shit, and they don't even know that they can do it. They just feel it. Like something's off about this dude. He's way too nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's not necessarily trying to go to a specific goal that he wants. Let's say you're on a date or something like that. He's not doing any of that. He's just saying, "Oh yeah, like I'm here just for you. I'm here to just help you. I'm here to." That all signals that you're a coward and you're fake and you're somebody that cannot be trusted.
Right.
And on top of that, when we talk about masculine and feminine energy, the nice guys always lean mostly towards their feminine energy, which then makes you feel like a best friend to the woman because you're
Yep.
like basically one of her female best friends.
Yup.
You're gossiping with her. That's feminine energy. That's not masculine energy, right?
Right.
You're over speaking. You're talking too much. You're trying to prove yourself to her.
Mm-hmm.
Masculinity is not about trying to prove yourself to anybody. You're already
Right.
proven within yourself.
Yep.
So the reason why they like the bad boy is because one, he doesn't give a fuck about what they think. He's going to live his life the way that he wants to live his life.
Mm-hmm.
Two, he's not over explaining shit. He's saying exactly what it is that he wants. He's very direct.
Yep.
And three, there's literally nobody that can sway him on anything. The woman, if she complains, if she does anything, he doesn't give a fuck because it's his life. And
Yep.
women like that. And he creates a world that she can live in versus the nice guys like to co-create worlds and shit and like, oh yeah, you can 50-50 this, 50-50 that. That's what nice guys do.
Right.
And so
And
I think that's the
go ahead.
biggest dynamic difference between that.
And I like how you said the best friend shit, right? So if we take this at a polarity scale, Feminine women are very feminine. Therefore, to polarize them, you need to be very masculine,
Right.
like insanely masculine. But if you're a nice guy, you're already a bit too feminine. So you're too close to her in that on that polarity scale, and you're not going to polarize her at all. So she's going to sit there and she'll talk to you because, like you said, just like a friend, right? You're almost a girl because you're a bit so you're so feminine. So you're engaged in feminine activity, talking to her, doing all the cuck like behavior that make her feel at peace, like she's with a friend, not
Hmm.
sexually turning her on, which is polarization. Because when you are very masculine, you have the structure, like we said in the beginning, that allows her to be as feminine as possible, right? The masculine man will polarize the feminine woman to relax, let her hair
Hmm.
down. She doesn't have to worry. She understands that that structure is going to protect her and keep her from any harm's way. That structure is not going to fall into any sort of feminine behavior that then has no direction, right? And almost imagine if you're the captain of a ship and she's the person who is on the ship and your duty is to get her from point A to point B, right? Your job as the captain is to run the fucking ship, right?
Hmm.
Her job may be to make the ship more aesthetically pleasing. So if you're now making the boat aesthetically pleasing, who the fuck driving the boat? Well, like, where are we going? We're going nowhere. And therefore, she doesn't trust you to get her from A to B. Right? And so you'll sit there and you keep doing this feminine bullshit. Yeah, let me gossip with her. Let me make sure, let me do as much as I possibly can. Right? Instead
Hmm.
of standing on your business and your structure to understand this is what my purpose is, baby. That comes first. You don't come first. You come second. Right? And if you want to join me on a ride to make this more pleasant, then let's roll, right? Because she'll then understand and acclimate to that structure that you have
Hmm.
and almost fuel you and give you all of the resources so that you get to your goal as
Hmm.
efficiently as possible because she understands that if you get to your goal, that not only is going to strengthen the structure that she can sit comfortably in, but it'll also give her the ability to now have children,
Hmm.
let her hair down, not worry about anybody else or any of the other structured men. And that's why when these nice guys have a lot of money, they can buy the woman because it's a fake posture of structure or
Hmm.
masculine energy. If
Hmm.
that money wasn't there, the woman wouldn't be there. And so
No.
you then wonder when the nice guy has all the money, attracts the girl with that fake energy, and then she go fuck Tyrone on the side because she desires to be polarized with a very
Yeah.
masculine man, not this nice
Hmm.
guy. She gonna use her money. Let it be a trick. Like let you be a trick and let her go dig off for you if that's what you
Money and
want to do.
attention, because attention's
Literally.
also another, and that's what people don't realize. The attention that you're giving women, that is
Mm-hmm.
almost equivalent to the money that they want to get from you. It's
Mm-hmm.
damn near the same. Because women literally, that's what they need is validation from other guys who just
Mm-hmm.
tell them that they're beautiful. All the guys
Right.
in the comment sections of all these women on Instagram, all they're doing is they're feeding them attention. They're giving them attention, which is equivalent to currency,
Facts.
like actual monetary currency.
Facts.
And then it goes deeper with the nice guy because it's funny. You would think the woman is not as safe with the bad guy
Right.
and she's more safe with the nice guy.
Right.
It's actually the opposite
The reverse.
because the nice guy is being his authentic self. That's just
Mm-hmm.
who he is. Or I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the bad
The
guy, the
bad guy.
bad boy, he's being his authentic self. The
Right.
nice guy's hiding some shit. So with the
Mm-hmm.
woman, it feels like, well, shit, I can't be safe because I don't know what this man's gonna do. I don't know what his intentions are because he's holding back for so much. She knows
Right.
you have to have masculine energy. She knows you want to fuck her at the end of the night. She knows that.
Right.
But but you're trying to be a nice guy and you're trying to
You
hide
trying to
it and
play.
you're trying to be this. That's a threat to her
Right.
biologically.
Right.
And that's what a lot of men don't understand. They think like if I can just play the nice guy role, and it's
Mm-hmm.
it's classic. I always talk about the dark triad traits:
Yeah, go ahead.
narcissism, psychopathy, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have Machiavellianism. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the nice guy basically puts all of those traits on the back burner. He tries to push and repress those traits because he's like, if I let those traits, because those are energetic traits that can basically manifest themselves if you hold them down in negative
Yes.
ways. So
Yes.
he'll start to do that shit,
Yep.
and you'll start to see the Machiavellianism come out, where
Yep.
now he's doing all the manipulation tactics without him even knowing
Facts.
versus the man who's fully integrated with both the light side and the dark side of
Mm-hmm.
his masculinity. he can show that in a positive way that's more received to the woman than the nice guy, which then creates that, like you said, polarity, where
Right.
she actually wants that man over the other one. So
Right.
it makes sense.
It's raw. It's raw.
Mhm,
Like you got to be at the end of the day. If you're a man, she understands you're a man, and
mhm,
be one. Don't think
mhm,
any woman doesn't know that you want sex from her. They know. Like off
mhm,
bat, you go up to them
mhm.
because you're attracted to them. You want the number because you want to see them again after this engagement. What you think you want after that? You want to talk and be friends? She know what you want, right? She just needs to understand, is she safe with you?
Mhm.
As safe as possible. And once she understands that she's safe, like all things then go out the window when it comes to feeling like, oh, he's gonna manipulate me, oh, blah, blah, blah. Because women are going to lie to themselves once you
Of
give
course.
them the structure that they're looking for. Their feminine energy again is creation. They're gonna be in their own heads. You don't even have to say a word. And even if you were to counterproduct what her mind was telling her, she's still gonna find a way to stay with you.
Mhm,
So why the fuck are we lying in the first place? It's kind of dumb.
mhm,
It's
mhm.
stupid. Sit within your masculine structure. You don't need to be brawling and to be like, yeah, I want to have sex with you now when you first meet her. No, that's already understood. What's understood don't need to be said most times. Her body's going to recognize that she's being polarized, and so are you. Don't think this don't go both ways, right?
Mhm.
You find her attractive because she's polarizing you. She's very feminine and you're very masculine, and they both polarize each other. And so once that is understood, there is no need to play like that doesn't exist. And the
Mhm.
nice guy acts like that doesn't exist and tries to play like polarity is a bad thing. Oh no, let me do this and let me make her do this and let me tell her fuck
Transactional.
her. Right. Fuck you. Her body's
It's
telling her what
transactional.
you need or what you want.
And
Fuck.
there's a guy who asked a really good question too that I think you can touch on this. What
Yeah, what's
kind of
up?
energy is it to let things go? Is it masculine or is it feminine?
To let things go,
Yes, that's a good question.
that's a masculine trait.
That's why.
Because it's a structural thing. It's like the integrity of your structure. If something
Mhm,
doesn't align with what you are and who you know you are and embody, then you let it go. Because as structural, like when you're a structural man, which is masculine, as we've said, right? Because
mhm,
structure is based off of masculine energy. There are
mhm,
decisions that you have to make every single day. The time in which we came on here at 12:15 was a decision that we both came up with. That we said,
mhm,
okay, cool. This works for us because our schedules don't align with a earlier time. So we
mhm,
chose 12:15.
mhm,
Decided. If we had decided to try to rush it and then missed it, at that time point, we would look bad on what? The people that we embody or the person that we are as men of business, right? We're very precise. So it's okay, extend the time. That's a decision. Everything you do is a decision. So when you have these things that don't align with who you are and the structure that you're holding and could potentially create leaks within your structure, which then fucking inhibits you to have the cash flow, the ability to have opportunities in abundance, then you have to let those soft parts of you go because
mhm,
you're not in flow state. You're a
mhm,
man of discipline, which means that you have to let go of the things that don't feed you and take on the things that do.
mhm.
So that's when you let things go, it's 100% masculine.
Interesting. I agree. I think revenge is a feminine trait at the end of the day. I mean, you only see women that are actually like committing revenge on men, like for example sleeping with a bunch of guys as revenge for the guy dumping her or something, or sleeping with his friend. You see that mostly from the feminine side. I mean, on the masculine side you may see it when it comes to like taking like physical revenge on somebody sometimes, but most of the time that's what women do for the most part. I don't think letting go
100%.
is a feminine trait, so you're right, it's 100% a masculine trait.
Right.
Somebody said, what books would you say helped you guys the most? Oh, that's,
You got it first, bro. I ain't gonna reveal. Hey, you
I
got
don't want
it.
to stick because we both have this one book that we've talked
Oh no,
about.
you could. I would never drop that book on live. You crazy?
Yeah.
You're mad. First of all, okay, and here, let me address that real quick because I don't need people to spin that and go crazy with it. The reason why you can't reveal that book because that's too high of a level of a book, and that depends on where you are on your journey.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't just name drop that book off the bat and be like, "Oh yeah, that's the book," because even if you were to pick up that book, you wouldn't even understand it.
Hmm.
So, um, I think for the foundational things, I think you hit that point first, right? And then
Okay.
we can, of course, we can get there, but like I would say, give them a hierarchy scale with the book. So if you were to say your foundational masculine traits come or derive from what books, or would that help you in your structure the most?
I mean, the first book for sure that I'm thinking of is Untethered Soul for sure. I
Okay,
think that's one of the most important books because it teaches you to detach from your own thoughts.
sure,
Which, if people who've been following me, they know it's like your thoughts then lead to your beliefs because they're the accepted thoughts that you have that then lead to your emotions that you carry, which then lead to action. So, if we're targeting the root and you want to learn more about how to actually change your activities that you do, like the actions that you take, that book for sure will change your entire mindset. 100%.
for sure.
Um, I would also say Iron John is a really good book for a lot of guys to read because I actually don't even think we've talked about this book at all, but
No,
it talks about the masculine rite of passage, which I think a lot of men are missing right now is rite of passage. The internet has made it so that there is no rite of passage to anything. You could jump into whatever and there's no earning shit. And that book
Mhm,
kind of drills in your head, like, okay, I need to make sure that I have some sort of a rite of passage in everything that I do. Like, earn your stripes type shit,
mhm,
which I think a lot
mhm.
of men don't understand these days because they think everything needs to be handed to them.
Yep.
Another book I would recommend, I got so many of these, bro. It's hard for me to even like pick some. And I don't want to say some of them, but
Because again, you can get to them, right? So somebody
Mhm.
said gatekeeping books is crazy, whatever. That we're not gatekeeping books. We're giving
We
you a
can say it.
structure on.
Fuck it. We'll give them the
We're
books. They're not going to read that shit.
See, this
If
is
y'all
me
want to know,
caring.
you want to
This is
know.
me caring too much.
Run it. I mean, I'll tell you the Kabbalion, which we've both read
One,
extensively.
that one will blow your mind.
Nag Hammadi. If you guys want to understand,
Crazy.
like someone said the Bible, read Nag Hammadi and then go
Nag
read the Bible
Hammadi,
and tell me.
G.
That's a big one. Another one I'd recommend, Prometheus Rising, is a good book to learn about, like just in terms of how you've been reading it at all.
Bro, I got to the end of that shit yesterday, bro. Goaded. I meant to tell you that today. Goaded.
Goated book,
Goaded.
right? Prometheus Rising is another one. I'm actually gonna pull up my book list right now so I could just run through all of this for y'all. And I
Sure, go
guarantee you, maybe
ahead.
0.001% of them will read this shit.
Fair. And I'll give them a one that you should read, and that's based on the people who made Netflix is propaganda. You
Propaganda
read
by
propaganda because propaganda allows you to see the bullshit within people, not only
Mhm,
basis on business, but in general, right? It
mhm,
shows you the nuances that a lot of people miss, right? The things that allowed people to act in a certain way and
mhm,
sway you to think a different way based upon what they want you to do, and it's not true, right? So when you start to read these books, I'd probably say read them in a way that allows you to see the world for what it is, right? And that's what I was
mhm.
saying. There's hierarchies to these books, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily gatekeeping. It's that when you have these prerequisite books and get to these top tier books, it all start to make sense up top, right?
And
And a
and
lot
that's
of
the
these,
thing.
go ahead.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. I cut you off.
I don't think I kind of lost the train of thought there, but I don't think even if you were to read books once,
Mhm.
you're still not going to understand them, right?
No, you
These
good.
foundational books you have to read several times over. Like there's
Mhm,
certain books that I read every month on
mhm,
repeat,
mhm,
nonstop. Why? Because it's again fortifying my structure and my foundation of understanding at new levels. Because as I grow, the books were created throughout someone else's journey, right? If you were to create a book right now, you would write it from your current spot of understanding, right? And so that means it would encompass all of the experience that you've gone through up until this point. If you're on a journey that is faster paced than the one that the person who's reading it on, that person, as they hit certain checkpoints, must reread your book because there are chapters and pages in your book that only will speak about a specific experience, and I have to trigger it first. So you have to read these books over and over and over and over, right? So I'm gonna let you finish your books, and then I'll tell you my books.
I'm going down the laundry list now. Now I got it pulled up now. So
Fire them, just fire them all, bro.
as a man thinketh, of course, I think that's foundational for every man to read. 21 Rules to Live by
Yep.
Miyamoto Musashi. You can also read The Book of Five Rings, which I highly I think every man should read it. It's the foundation of discipline, art of war, of course.
Must.
Um, you also have, let me look, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Read that book, but also take it lightly, lightly,
That book's a
right?
little bit, bro. Yeah, keep going.
The Evolution of Desire by David Buss is another good one. So, The Evolution of Desire, I think every man should read that book because I've even told my mentees this. If
Yep.
you can understand evolutionary biology and human nature, you are unstoppable in anything in life. With women, with business, with other people, with social hierarchies, you know how shit moves. Like, if there's one book out of this entire thing that I would recommend you guys start reading right now is Evolution of Desire. 100%.
Yep.
Best book you can read.
Yep.
The next one I would recommend is, so you have one. I'll let you say it because you brought it up. It's the financial book. I think it was like J.P. Morgan or some shit. I'm gonna let that shit.
Oh, the House of Morgan.
The House of
You
Morgan, bro.
you read that book, raps with your 9 to 5.
Yes,
1,000%. You're gonna be like, man, fuck my 9 to 5.
yes,
You read House of Morgan, it's a long read, so don't get fucked up. That book look like
yeah,
the Bible. But once you get through it, goaded book, bro. Goaded book, especially if you are joining the entrepreneurial space. You got any more
yeah.
before I drop off mine or no?
I got a few. I got a few. The
Keep
Black
going.
Swan. Read that by Nassim Taleb. This
Yep.
is important to read because it helps you position yourself in the economy. And if we're
Right.
talking about more financial books, also the Confessions of the Economic Hitman is a really, really good book to understand why wars happen, why things in society are going on right now. Because I think a
Yep.
lot of us, not even us, but a lot of men who are watching this right now are so glued to self improvement that they ignore the trends that are happening around them and they
Mm-hmm.
don't understand why society is moving how it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you can understand why wars happen, if you can understand the economic benefits behind them,
Mm-hmm.
then you can position yourself a little bit better than you already are. But that's
Facts.
what I'll leave it off to that.
All right, cool. So unfuck yourself. Definitely need to to read that book off jump. The subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Hmm.
Yep. There's I would say the subtle art of not giving a fuck is a prerequisite to the everything is fucked. Right. Same author, but you read the subtle art of not giving a fuck first, right? To understand that you have to let go. You have
Hmm.
to detach from things,
Hmm.
right? And then you go to everything is fucked to understand that even the life that you live in right now, hey, it can all be wrapped and summed up into bullshit if you don't
Hmm.
claim it as you're the one who creates meaning for it, right? If we're
Hmm.
going a little bit deeper, surrounded by idiots, one of my faves. Surrounded by psychopaths, one of my faves. Surrounded by energy vampires, one
Hmm.
of my faves.
That whole
Uh,
series.
that whole series is insane, right?
Hmm.
You hear us talking about reading energy while we're in rooms. That's a lot of the foundational stuff that'll help you understand that. The Subtle Art of Seduction by Robert
Hmm.
Greene.
Hmm.
Listen, you need to understand what part of you can seduce the feminine energy out of the businessman or the
Archetypes.
businesswoman that you're speaking to. An
Hmm.
archetype, right? I'm not. I'm the way of a superior man. You should read that at least 10 times a year,
Yeah.
right? You should read that
Yeah.
10 times a year. That's not even like optional, because a lot of this stuff where y'all talking about like scared to deal with your woman in a structural way and what you do. You have to operate from your masculine energy when you deal with these women, and that book will help you understand that to a T. Letters from a Stoic by Seneca, right? You
Hmm.
said meditations. Right after meditations, you better read Letters of a Stoic by Seneca, right?
Hmm.
Same sort of philosophy
Hmm.
thought process, right? When you're thinking, you gotta have that book. Power versus Force,
Uh-huh. I read that a few times.
powerful as fuck, right? You can gauge your energetic levels and see how they are interrupting the things that you're trying to get to so that your masculine energy does not dip, right? A lot of you are allowing yourself to dip because of certain things that power versus force speak about. Outwitting the devil, big one.
Hmm.
Um, Seven Rules of Power. My
Yeah.
God, read that book, please. Um,
Not the
and
48 laws, seven rules of power.
Seven Rules of Power, not the 48 Laws, right?
Uh-huh.
48 Laws is good, but Everyone knows about that book. The Seven Rules of Power is what kind of gets you ahead. Um, and reality transurfing, you know that was going to be
I know
my
that's number
top
one.
book. You know I was going to drop my book. That's my book. That book damn near is $75, and I've read that book 6 times already. So, and it's a long read, and
Yes.
it's a heavy read. If you're looking to fuck your entire life up, read that book.
And that I think that's going to be important for people to know too. When you read these books, it's always going to be in the context of where your life is right now. Every
Mhm.
book that you read is revolved around that context. So there will be books like, for example, reality transurfing, where there are parts of the book that won't resonate with you because you're not at that level yet. So reading these books, it's almost like you have to read them in stages and you have to reread them as you evolve. Every time you feel like there's a new shift in your life, you go back to these foundational books
Yep.
because you're going to get new insights even from reading the same exact words. They're just going to mean different things based on different parts of your life. So
Right.
it's good.
The stage you're at. Big up South Africa. You teaming in from South Africa, so we gotta at least say what up to y'all. Ooh, I would say we segue into continuing the conversation. Y'all got a
Yeah.
whole. They got at 46 minutes. You got the foundations that would change your entire life if you took it serious.
If,
If
if.
keyword, right? And if you read these books, but you're probably not.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah. So let's keep going, bro. Let's keep it going. Everything is so automatic in life. Taking notes.
Give us some topics, some actual topics. Don't give us bullshit. I really got pissed off, bro. I was like, man, fuck these niggas
I know you
talking
read
about
that.
this shit.
You read that earlier. Um, yeah. So there these books not only help you with your masculine energy, but they also help you to understand how to attract the um
Mhm.
the feminine energy, right? So again, if we were to go deeper into the subject of the two energies, when you sit on your masculine energy, it's not just that you're going to polarize women, right? You're going to polarize your entire life, right? People around you that are feminine are, if they're women, are probably going to come to you, right? While also, if, and this is the funny thing about the energetic scale, where when men are more feminine, you're either going to
Mhm.
repulse them or they're going to be attracted to that masculine because they know they don't have it. So a lot of men either hate us or they love us,
Mhm.
right? Because they want to learn, or they're just going to be, y'all the villain. Y'all not like me. You're not a nice guy. You're a bad boy. And you're trying to manipulate me. Well, guess what, the fuck, bucko? Everyone's manipulating you every second of the day. Every word that's uttered out of your mouth is a manipulation tactic if you didn't realize. So you have to get into this place where only your voice matters. And if you're a male, you better be executing with your ultimate discipline to be able to up and go up the hierarchy scale within the masculine life force sphere, because it's the only thing that matters in this realm, right?
I would
So,
I
go
would
ahead.
even piggyback off of that. As a man, you have to be comfortable with tension because that's what polarity creates is tension. And a
Yep.
lot of men are not comfortable with tension. They want everything to be relaxed. And tension is what makes a woman attracted to you, believe it or not. The tension
Hmm.
that is within that
Yep.
sphere or that conversation. Like
Hmm.
all of this shit matters. And a lot of men don't have that type of energy to them. And that's the biggest thing that I would say to actually build within yourself is just being comfortable with tense environments and doing things that are not comfortable for you, right? And I know there's a good question here, Martel. Can you please elaborate on needing something versus detaching from the outcome? That is fuck. That's a great. We can segue into that shit
That's a
because
phenomenal question, by the way.
I already know that's one of my mentees, bro. I fuck with him. He's good. He's good.
Oh, okay, word. Fire.
But so basically, needing something, you need the process. You need the process to happen, but you detach from the actual outcome. A lot of people, they need the outcome to happen, which means they don't even have, Dwight, based on what you're saying, the structure, right? To be
Hmm.
able to even make that outcome happen. So you have all these men who have all of these massive goals for themselves, and they don't even have a plan. They don't have a structure on how they're going to get to those goals. So every time they keep pushing, they get frustrated because they never get to reach that goal. It's like me saying, I need $1 million. I need $1 million. And I just focus on the outcome, but I don't have a process. I don't have what am I going to do every day? What are the goals I'm going to hit every week? What are the goals I'm going to hit every quarter? And then how are all of those goals going to sum up to the year of me making that $1 million? If
Right.
you can reverse engineer that without having the need for the outcome, you'll realize that, fuck, okay, every day, this is the substantial amount of work I need to do. It'll
Hmm.
ground you to reality, because everyone who's looking or attached to an outcome, they're grounded in like the worst possible delusion. I know I say being delusional is good, but that's like the negative form of delusion, where you think you're going to get this thing, but there's no process to it. So now you're slowly killing off your mindset, and also the trust within yourself starts to go down, because you're not even getting to, every year you have the same fucking goal and you keep falling short. You keep falling short. You
Hmm.
trust yourself less. You trust yourself less. You trust
Hmm.
yourself less, to the point where now you're at the bottom, and now
Right.
you don't even think there's a way for you to get out,
Right.
because you were so focused on the outcomes. Everybody's focused on the outcomes, and then that makes you almost like you're ungrateful, and you're somebody who expects for everything to just fall in your lap. Where it's
Yes.
like, oh, I want $1 million, so, and that's where you get the spiritual guys, right? Where they're like, just sit there and fucking manifest, and you'll get $1 million.
Right.
No, you have to be attached to the process and detached from the outcome. That's the only way you're gonna win.
Right.
That's my take.
And even at a business level, when you set
Hmm.
specific outcomes and desire to get the outcomes, once you get the outcomes, your desire to drive for it is gone. So that's
Hmm.
what men they don't think about, is if you were to get your outcomes, once you get it, is it rooted to something deep enough for you to keep going, to
Hmm.
desire to keep going because you've already hit your outcome?
Hmm.
Because a lot of men, they think money is the outcome. You think women is the outcome until you get it and you realize it's just what it is. It's just
Hmm.
a byproduct. So once you have it, then your fire is gone because you no longer have an outcome or something to reach towards, right? Your goal
Hmm.
wasn't deep enough. So you have to detach from outcomes altogether. Sure. Do I
Hmm.
think that you should put specific dates and desire specific things? Yes, because if you're going to tell the energetic field that we all sit on that you want a specific thing, then you have to aim towards that thing and know what it is. But your desire to have it and claim it and tightly rigid say that this is the only thing that I'm going to accept needs to dissipate, because your life will end up dragging you up, down, through the mud. To get there won't be clean, but you'll get there, right? So if you always think that you have to have the specific way to get to your outcome, you have to let that go, one. And two, you have to think about what you're aiming at. Are you the guy who can put in enough energy to get the $1 million? And people
It's
don't like to think about that,
the
because the
identity
hierarchy
that you
scale
need.
is it's real. The hierarchy scale is
Hmm.
real. And if you're not willing to put a certain amount of energy and effort and sacrifice towards being
Hmm.
at a certain rung on the hierarchy scale, you should just let it go
Hmm.
and accept what is of you, right? Where you're willing to put in. Some people aren't willing. Like I had a student I told that I got rid of my dog for that first bag I made. Remember when I quit my 9 to 5
I
and did
remember
that
that shit.
huge gap?
I remember
I
that.
got rid of 23 distractions overnight. And the dog that I had for over a year from a puppy was one of them, right? Brought that shit to a relocation, got it to another home, right? People don't want to give up certain things. So how the
Uh,
fuck do you think you're gonna operate at a scale where those things are just the entry ticket, not the energetic level that you have to upkeep to even hold yourself at this hierarchy scale? So you
mhm.
got to think about those things as well as you go after your things, as you detach from the outcomes.
I would even piggyback off of that, so people can even understand this in a day-to-day setting. It's like when
Mhm.
you're driving, you don't think about the destination, and you don't live in the destination, the delusion of the destination while you're driving, or else you're going to crash. You focus
Mhm.
on the GPS, you focus on the road in front of you, and you maneuver around, and you focus on the plan that's in front of you. And then you end up getting the destination by default, because
Right.
you already went the route. You're already going on the
Mhm.
road in that direction. And this
Mhm.
isn't even just around business. This isn't just about, it's also with women. I talked about this on one of my videos too. A lot of men are so focused on having sex with a woman right away. That's their outcome. So they focus on the outcome, and then they end up detaching themselves from the process. So they're not present in the situation.
Mhm.
And they wonder why they fumble a lot. They wonder why they crash, right? In
Mhm.
conversations. Because you're
Yup.
not focused on the road. You're focused on, this is the destination. She's gonna be in
Yup.
my bed. She's gonna do this. She's gonna do that.
Yup.
That's why. This principle applies across
The
everything.
board.
It's the same with, bro. There's a guy who's like, where's God in this conversation? You want to know why God is not quote unquote in this conversation? Because everybody who talks like that focuses on God and heaven as the
Yup.
destination, and they fucking forget about the present moment that they're living in right now.
Yup.
This
Yup.
is why you see a lot of people in Christianity, a lot of all these people are poor. This is why you
Mhm.
see that they have bad health because they care about the destination of heaven when we don't
Yup.
even fucking know if that shit is going to even happen. Nobody knows. I'm sorry. Didn't
Facts.
want to burst your bubble.
Facts. Facts.
Why would I care about the destination when I can focus on the
Right here.
process of life?
Literally.
You want to talk about God? Okay, God put you here with all of the faculties that you have, a brain, a literal brain that you can function that works better than the best computer known to man, and you're still asking God to give you shit?
The shit. It's a dumbass.
Do you think that that's how life works? You think that okay, you're gonna die, you just wait till you go to heaven and you fuck around and all of that? You think that's what's gonna help you?
Right.
Never. It's all about the process, the road. If you even read the Bible literally talks about the
Mhm.
road to getting to whatever outcome it is. You want to go to heaven? Well, now you got to be on hell on earth. It's you
Motherfucker.
got to get through this part. A lot of y'all can't make this part. How the fuck you about to make heaven? You you think you about to make heaven and you can't even sit in hell here and make something out of it?
Facts.
That's not how it works.
Facts. Facts.
I know God is smart, right? If God's smart, then he's not gonna just give you shit while you're here and make shit easy for you.
Yep.
It's not how it works.
Now, I didn't even piggyback on top of that. Imagine God who made this abundant world with specific laws and rules and regulations to give you what you want. And if you follow them, you'll get what you're looking for, like the gender of energetic frequencies, right? And understanding that, along with giving you a specific value and gift that you have. And you don't desire to unlock it because you're too coward to jump into the hierarchy system that is set up. You get to this point where it's like, God, please show me the way. God, please give me this. God probably looking at you like, I already gave you everything you need.
Everything.
All you got to do is move. You got to get in a car. You got to drive along the road and just go. But a lot of you just want to sit back and just pray and do your spiritual rituals and ask God for the clarity to see. Motherfucker, you have a brain and the gift that's imparted with you. So use it. But you're too scared to jump into the game. And so instead, you think that praying is the execution. Doesn't work that way. You have to jump into the game.
You have to. The game was created, and here's another thing too. Everybody thinks, well, everything needs to be equal. This is what Christians think. They think everything needs to be equal. Everything needs to be no. There's a reason why everybody has an unfair advantage in this world right now. It was designed that way. It was designed for the people to take advantage of their unfair advantages to get to where they need to be. Like this dude said, I think his name is LQ. He said, God is not a genie. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Facts.
y'all are using God as a crutch, and y'all have never even heard God. I guarantee you haven't heard of what you don't even know. You just blind to the fact. Like, oh yeah, God's gonna get me this, God's gonna get me that, God's gonna get me the Lambo, God's gonna get me the woman, God's gonna get me this.
Yeah, okay.
You're gonna get that if you can actually do the shit that you need to do on this planet. God
Right.
doesn't see, it's like make the effort and God steps in to give you the divine push. God doesn't he doesn't meddle in what he already created. You guys make it seem like let me think about it. Imagine if God was creating the world and he had this math equation that
Hmm.
1 + 1 has to equal 2. What
Hmm.
you're telling me is that God's going to intervene and add another plus
Talk
to
that
that
shit.
1 + 1 to
Talk
make
your
it
shit.
equal 2.
Facts.
I tell people this. I'm like, God doesn't meddle in material shit like all this world. This is our realm to move in.
To have dominion. Yep.
That's what you need to do.
Right.
And if you don't believe me, go read your Bible. I read that shit hundreds of times. I had to.
You got no choice. And you don't, it literally, you said that perfectly, by the way. The equation. You follow. It's just like how we talking about polarity. If you turn into a masculine man, it's gonna polarize the feminine. If you just act, you're going to receive. That's the equation. You have to execute. When you start to execute, you're gonna have to what? Fumble a bit and fall on your face simply because how you've been operating is not how God put you together to operate. You have
No.
to first note that and understand that one thing. Your current identity, if you are stuck, if you are poor, still at your 9 to 5, still operating off the perceptions of others, you are operating in an ungodlike state. But then you the same motherfucker who go to Sunday prayer and asking God what you should do better in your life. What would be
What
better for you
bro,
is to lose your current structure and start all over again.
here I'm gonna have to do this shit because I think a lot of people now we getting into the religion shit. This is fun. Now it's we can go another
Now it's
hour
get
on this
right.
shit.
Now we get
It's
to the
about to get
core
real, fellas. I don't think y'all really
real
wanted
quick.
to hit this. So I think what a lot of Christians don't understand is that the
Yep.
God that you're praying to is not the actual it's not the God you think it is. It's
Facts.
not. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah,
The God that you think
don't destroy it too much.
wants
Yeah,
you
go
to
ahead.
rely on him is not the God you think he is. And I'll only leave it at that. The the God of Jesus is not the same God that you're praying to, bro. That's why he said my father. He didn't say our father, he said my father. Because he's in a different world. But a
Yep,
lot of
but
y'all want to fall into that same thing of like, let me pray, God's gonna come help me, let me do this, let me do that, and then you sit and you're helpless. Can't do it. Yeah, they said don't expose that. I
I'm not. That's what
in
I'm
my
staying quiet, bro.
bones, bro.
Not saying a word upon that subject because we could get real deep in that subject. No,
That
let them
subject is crazy.
let them believe what they want to believe and sit there and bawl to God and think that God gonna come save your ass. And it's really your problem because you're not executing on the things that God gave you already. And we don't need to indulge in any sort of conversation about the God that they pray to. Just allow them to go into that direction.
And again, I will also back up the fact that if your mental model for how you look at spirituality and religion works for you, run with it.
Use it.
But
Yeah.
what I'm attacking is the fact that there's so many people whose mental model around religion is fucking them to the bone, and they
Mhm.
refuse to remove that mental model and understand that you're following a flawed model.
Literally.
You might actually be following. I had to come to terms with this shit.
Mhm.
I had to.
It's a hard realization too, because
Very.
imagine if you've lived your entire life, because a lot of you have lived your entire life around this mental model, right? And so you've attached your identity to it. And
Mhm.
therefore, you won't ever grasp the true power that you have to get you up in the hierarchy scale that you're living as a male. It'll keep you at the lowest rank. And that's okay because what? The hierarchy scale has to be set up where there are winners and there are losers, right? And the losers get trapped in their own mental loops, in their own mental models, and they believe in their parents being God first, like their parents' word being God, right? But your parents have also then told you or implemented systems and programs in your mind when you were young that you've clung on to for so long that to break them would mean to shatter your entire perception as you know it. And you don't ever want to step into that realm because now you're going to be exposed. And I put it this way: if you sit into a room where there's nothing but you, that is what is actually going on a day-to-day
Mhm.
basis, but you make yourself feel better with that pressure of understanding that every decision is based on you. To have a God in the sky that's directing you or saying that, can you help me, God, makes you feel better about that truth. And you know that intrinsically that you are the one in control here. But you just hold on to those mental models because it makes you feel better.
It's true. And that's I don't know, man. There's a lot of people who, if they really knew the truth, they would be shaken. It would almost cause some sort of like if it's psychosis or some sort of like disillusionment that they would have to the point where it would shatter a lot of people. But the reality is the laws of the universe remain the same. Whoever created those laws, if you want to call it God, if you want to call it the creator. I remember one of my mentees was like, Jesus is not God. And we can go into that shit too, because that's a very interesting take. I agree with that too, by the way. I agree with that, but yes.
Let them do what they do.
But we have to play games that we have to play as humans. That's all it is. And then somebody said, if they don't know the
Nope,
truth,
nope.
why
Yeah, I
don't
just saw
you
that.
all go out and tell others? Here's how it is. Ooh, this is perfect for me. Oh,
That
y'all
was
get me
great.
hyped up.
That was
Look,
great. Yeah, go ahead.
this is why I always frown at Christians who leave all these fucking crazy comments on the internet trying to convert everybody to Jehovah's Witnesses, all of that shit. The reason why I don't like it is because if you truly believe that something was working for you and it was actually working for you and you had no doubt, you wouldn't be trying to convince other people as your main job on the planet to believe in the shit that you believe in.
Literally.
I'm not here trying to convince you guys on my frame of thinking when it comes to spirituality and God and all of that. I'm not here to do that
Hmm.
because I know it's real for me. I've experienced it. I know. I don't just believe. I know for myself, from my own personal experiences. A lot of
Hmm.
Christians, they don't actually know the shit. They just believe it because that's what was fed to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what's crazy.
And that kind of goes into, again, we don't want to lose topic, but it goes into the very structure that make us who we are,
Mhm,
right? I'm not going to energetically leak my own power into
mhm.
trying to convince people who've already convinced themselves that what I'm speaking about is a lie. Why would I waste my energy on that? That makes absolutely no sense, right? I'm not going to sit there and speak. And here he goes again. Who said you have to convince anyone? I asked, why don't you spread what you know? What do you think we do on YouTube
It's
every
just close.
every single day?
But here's the thing with this, Ricky. Here, I get what you're saying, but the problem is there are a lot of people who their identity is so tied to their beliefs that it's literally on deaf ears at a certain point.
Yep.
And for me, I believe that I have to live what it is that I truly understand and know.
Hmm.
You'll know people by their fruit. Go look at your favorite pastors. Go look at how they live their life. Go look at the jets that they fly on with your money.
Yep.
Go look at them. All the people, all the religious figures that you look up to. And the thing is, someone said Jesus isn't God. No. Why? Where in the scriptures that you read did that ever come up? That never came up. Ever. I want somebody to give me a verse on that shit where Jesus says, I'm God.
Okay, Ricky come in peace,
Worship
man.
me.
We ain't gonna give you a autopsy report, Ricky. You good. You good in the book, bro. You good in the book. Keep staying. Yes, we're both from the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Haitian
Haitian
and
and Haitian and
Jamaican.
Jamaican.
People would be like, isn't that a problem? Nah.
Not really. But yeah, it's so true, bro. You operate, and here's the funny thing. The funny thing is you do what works for you, right?
Hmm.
Because that's also another thing that people have to understand. I'm not here to convince you to believe in what I believe in. I'm here to convince you that you can take dominion over your own life and achieve whatever you're looking to achieve, right? So if
Hmm.
that's the case and you believing in God and you're still taking
Perfect.
action and your life
Perfect.
is turning out the way it needs to be and you are going up the hierarchy scale, keep doing that
Yes.
because it's working for you, right? That does not matter. And this is where belief, this is why we don't have to jump too deep into the belief systems of those who don't believe in the very things that we believe in. Why? Because it's in the betterment of the masculine force as men that you continue believing as long as you're executing. So keep executing. That's it. Right? All this other shit is just it's just flawed. Right? So keep doing what you're doing if it works. Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing I'll mention because somebody said this and people are throwing verses out there. Here's the thing. If your argument is circular based on one source that also has been edited multiple times, thousands and thousands of times, that you don't even have the original source. By the way, the original source is under the Vatican somewhere. You don't have
Yep.
it.
Yep.
It's invalid.
Right.
Any argument around that is invalid. Again, I don't, and I'll leave it at this.
Yeah.
Everybody's faith is everybody's faith. Do whatever it is that you want. If it makes you
Mhm.
happy, if it makes you successful. I love Myron Golden. He's a Christian. He's a diehard Christian, but he's actually taking action. Love people like that. Period. Point blank. I'll leave it at that.
Right. You could be my adversary, but you still taking action. I still respect you. Right? Go do your thing. So um we have any what it's like that just took us off track
I love
so
it though. I
far.
love that shit.
It's perfect, right? But it
The
took us so
chaos is
far off
crazy.
track from the original
But
conversation.
the original conversation was masculine and feminine energy and
Yep.
kind of modern day. How do you, I would say a good question that nobody's asked right now is how do you weaponize each type of energy for what it is that you want in your life?
That's a powerful question. Ask that one more time.
How do you weaponize each types of energies to get exactly what you want in life? Because if we both have masculine, or if we all as men have masculine and feminine energy, how
Yep.
do you get animus and anima? That's a
Yep.
Carl Jung. That's his
Mm-hmm.
whole shit.
Mm-hmm.
Which, how do you use each one to get what you want in life? Like, when is each used?
I think you just to make it as simple as possible, right? And I kind of will go back from what we said in the beginning. You use your masculine disciplines to set the stage, right? That's usually that's the best way to use your masculine energy. Set the stage for your abundance to come in.
Hmm.
And so that means you have to almost obliterate everything that you understand. And I think that's why we went into that, the religious route in the first place, because
Yeah.
it has to start at a root that you have to take out and then implant your actual uh, disciplines and your structure, right? So you use your masculine discipline to set the stage and set the container, right? And that can be actually very, very rigorous and very difficult, because you're gonna
Hmm.
have to cut off people, relationships to your family,
Hmm.
relationships to your environment, even, right? Because your environment could also be hindering you. And that's why
Hmm.
I say, like, move out of your hometown or your home state, because it will hinder you.
Hmm.
So you have to make a clear cut decision on who you want to become, right? And the best way I put it with the masculine energy is, there's who you want to become as your new identity. There's your old identity, which is over here. And then in the center is you playing fucking teetering, which is the gray zone.
Hmm.
You never want to get caught in the gray zone, because you're holding on to your old identity and the new one that you're trying to accept. You have to turn on that masculine energy and make it almost sharp as a sword to cut,
Hmm.
and make a clear and concise decision. Once you understand, okay, cool, I'm at a place where I understand how I'm going to operate. I understand what is asked of me, and I'm not going to allow people to intrude on the structure that I've now built with their opinions, with their influences, with them inviting me out. Know what's going to be your best friend. Now it's
Hmm.
time to work on my creative energy, which is allowing the
Hmm.
feminine abundances to flow. This is where you can then start doing like your spiritual stuff to then
Hmm.
connect to something that's masculine, right? So if you're going to do your spiritual meditations and all of that and allow your energies to flow, or get into this flow state, it better be connected to some masculinity, which is execution, right?
Hmm.
So you set the stage and then you allow yourself to create from a place of true. Because once you clear and concisely pick your new identity, what's going to reveal to you is your voice and your true value. And
Hmm.
that's the spot that you create from, because it
Hmm.
doesn't extinguish, right? No
Yeah.
matter what byproducts you get, money, women, the ability to travel, no matter what it is, you'll still create from a place of truth and a place
Hmm.
of value that will help other men, or who you're supposed to serve, out. So focus on your structure first, which is masculine, and then get your feminine to flow from a place of value and truth from
Perfect
inward.
answer.
Yeah.
Perfect answer. Another good one. How do you guys regulate your dopamine on a daily basis? I can answer this very, very simply.
Yeah.
Create double the amount that you consume.
Sure.
Very, very simple.
Hmm.
Every single time that you find yourself consuming something, go create something at the same time.
Hmm.
That will change your brain, or create double the amount, because now your brain is being rewarded for creating and not just consuming, which I think a lot of people, they struggle with consumption,
Yep.
and they wonder why they're broke,
Literally.
because you're consuming, you're giving your energy to somebody else who produced something to take your energy. So yeah, very practical stuff. I'm not big into like the screen time savers and stuff like that, and like
Yep.
the timer apps. That's all like, that's all cosmetics.
Yep.
Create more than you consume, and you
Yep.
won't even want to consume as much. When I'm scrolling on Instagram, do I find funny shit? Yeah, when I do, I'm gonna go tweet some shit,
Hmm.
or I'll go make a video,
Right.
and then I'll go back. If I can double that aspect, then my brain will start to feel like the reward is consume or producing, rather than just let me scroll and let me give somebody else the energy that I could have used to make some shit for myself.
Right. And I think we also derive dopamine from our ability to stay true to our structure, which is discipline,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Because what you start to realize, and I know the two of us talk about it all the time, we gain that feeling of dopamine through executing,
Hmm.
working out, fighting and training. and getting all the things done for our businesses, and that brings me joy. Like, I went through my entire checklist and did all the needle movers that bring my business cash flow and continue to fulfill the people that I have within my business to fulfill, full of dopamine, right?
Mhm.
I'm now also reinforcing the fact that I am who I say I am because I got
Mhm.
all this shit done.
Mhm.
So I think that was a very great point on produce more than you consume, but also realize when you start to actually produce, you're going to get a feeling of dopamine just by producing because
Mhm.
you're doing what you know you should be doing and
Mhm.
not falling into these doom scroll loops and engaging in sexual activity like without any sort of purpose. Like, it's just, it distracts you. When you can remove all the distraction and actually execute, dopamine's going to come regardless.
And somebody asked, what do we mean by creation? Is it artistic, or what does that mean? Creating in this sense, because obviously there has to be a purpose. We're not just creating just to create, to be creative, artistic. It's to make money, right? A
Mhm.
lot of people don't realize to make money in this world, you have to create and embody value. That's it. The minute that you can create and embody value, and what do I mean by that? Making content, making videos, go on TikTok and just talk the way that you're talking in this chat now. You guys got a lot of shit to say. Maybe you should make a profile and talk about that, and
Mhm.
then learn the business side behind that and learn how to monetize.
Mhm.
That's the best way to do all of this shit, is just creating, 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 creating. And then when you start to consume, you'll consume with a different eye. You'll consume with an eye of like, how can I be inspired by this to create better things that will then yield me the return of the energy, which is money. Because
Right.
money is energy at the end of the day.
And we would be fools to say it's not about money.
No,
That would be very foolish, right? To say
energy.
that you want a lot of money and a lot of that feminine abundance, you have to be able to speak about it at length,
Hmm.
right? You should always be doing a mathematical equation of how you're going to get the money that you're looking for by
Hmm.
producing.
Hmm.
So speak about money as much as possible. Everyone knows that you're selling something. Like, we're all selling something, right? And
Hmm.
so you have to accept that fact that you have to become a producer, and producers
Hmm.
create to sell, consumers
Hmm.
buy, right?
Hmm.
And whether they buy it with actual money, which is energy, or attention, which is also energy, they're buying it, right? And
Hmm.
you need to be able to sell at scale and not hinder yourself by acting as if you're not trying to sell, right? It's just like the nice guy and the bad guy thing. It's the very same conversation. Some worry about the end product, some worry about the process. And the
Hmm.
people who worry about the process are actually talking about the process and what the exchange is. And those worried about the outcomes are the nice guys. And that's usually why they lose in business, right?
They're also the guys who are what you guys like to call scammers. Those are the ones that are focused on the outcomes, because they'll give you this beautiful storefront of everything that they're doing, but behind the
Mm-hmm.
scenes there's no value at all,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that's the same thing where, like, if you focus on that, then it's very, very important. I gotta remove this thing that says watch Myron Gaines like 20 billion times, bro. Let me go ahead and move this thing out of the way. You can go ahead and touch on that too, or if there's any other questions.
Okay.
Bro, I like this YouTube timeout shit.
You put motherfuckers in timeout.
I'm putting mad people on timeout, bro.
um, but yeah, I think it's all related, right? And if we were to get real serious about the topic, business is just about self mastery and energetic flows. That's
Hmm.
literally it. The better you understand yourself, the better you will do in business. And this is
Hmm.
why we can get into certain topics like the God stuff and all of that, because it's rooted deep within your subconscious, and you have to reveal that to yourself to understand
Hmm.
how you're going to operate in business, right? A lot of you have this fear of
Oh, did he hop out? I'll wait for him to come back. But let me answer some questions while he's coming back. What triggered y'all to lock in like this? I mean, it all comes down to like childhood. You know what I mean? Like the childhood that we went through when we were young. Like we didn't come from like rich backgrounds and stuff like that. Like that triggers you to go harder in life because you've already been at the bottom. So you have to step up. You have to get higher. You have to get higher. That's what makes you quote unquote lock in, is just the almost like the paranoia that you're going to go back to where you came from. And also there's no risk in your mind because you know that you've already hit the bottom before. That's why I think it's very incredible. It's amazing when people are at the bottom because that's the floor for you. You can't get any lower than this shit. You know what I mean? So it's very, very important to understand. Like that's why we've gotten to that point. But yeah, you're back.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but keep going.
All good. All good. Basically, they were saying, "Oh, yeah, he got
Whatever.
out again. Can't really see you, but
Can you hear me?
yeah,
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know." Somebody said, "How do you battle boredom after pulling all the right levers for the day? For instance, after your day making content for the day and hitting the gym, learn something else, learn something new, find an instrument to learn, find some sort of skill that you have to learn. Just keep continuously learning, keep reading new books, read books outside of the genre that you want." You know what I mean? Yeah, he said that they're attacking Dwight.
Yeah, bro, they fucking with me right now. I don't know what the fuck's going on, bro.
I'm the one that was saying controversial shit about religion. I don't know why they was attacking
Oh, there
you.
we go. Word. Them motherfuckers ain't want to see them goddamn motherfucker be great, bro.
I can't see you though.
You can't see me.
No, you're like a black screen.
Oh, I see everything operating clean cut and clear here, bro.
Yeah, I don't
See
know.
see me now?
No.
Damn. All right, I'll hop out and join back in.
Okay. All right, y'all. This live has been echoing in my voice for so long. So if you saw me kind of move off topic a little bit or kind of like not be as flowing as I usually do, it's because literally I'm hearing echoes of myself and of the previous conversation, which is annoying. But we're still going. Um, I'm still hearing this shit. I'm gonna add him in right now. There we go.
Good to go.
Yeah.
All right, bet. Um, was the question why? What you say about cause us to lock in
Yeah.
or something? Um, I think you get tired of where you are at a certain
Mhm.
point because we all have a starting point. I think you and I both had a starting point,
Mhm.
right? Like we started almost in that same position of understanding this is not the identity that I want to have. This
No.
is not the identity that I want to claim. So why the fuck am I operating as if this is what I want to do? And you have to make a concise decision to say,
Mhm.
okay, cool. Now it's time for me to actually become. And then when you start to become, you cut out the things that fuel your old identity that remind you of where you're coming from. And then you just start to execute. And as the results come, so does your ability to self master, right? Your self mastery levels increase. So that's kind of where it all starts from is trying to get out and then finally understanding the formula to get out and then never letting it go.
Mhm. That's a big one. I mean, I also told them like when you're at the bottom, when you've been at the bottom of your life, you have not even just a chip on your shoulder, but you almost have like a risk-free, like I can take the biggest risk because I've already been at the lowest point of my life before. There's no bottom beyond that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you can kind of get into that. People have been asking about this Instagram stuff. They're like, please give us a guide to Instagram and how we can make our profiles masculine and attractive.
First of all, let me handle that because that's exactly what the fuck I teach all my students on a
There
day-to-day
you go.
basis.
There you go.
First of all, your structure comes from your life. Fuck your Instagram optimization. Because if you're a pussy hole in real life, your Instagram don't go do shit for your life. Right? And so when you go to sell something, people gonna also realize that you're faking it. So for us to tell you what you should do for your Instagram to make it more masculine, you have to become more masculine in your life first. Point blank, period. Right? Your structure in real life happens first. You want to play the perception game like all the real motherfuckers and don't want to take on your life real serious and just want to play the Instagram game, not the place for you. Sorry.
What I add to that too is be somebody who's in the arena doing shit. Like be in life and actually be moving. Here's the thing that people don't understand. Everyone's trying to optimize their Instagram and have these lifestyle posts, but they can't keep it up because that's not their life. That's not. There's people who will literally go somewhere and batch make photos like luxury photos in that one place and they'll literally post the same place for a year.
Right.
It's like you have to be living the life that you want to portray. If your dedication is to make an Instagram channel that inspires people, that's masculine, that's attractive. Be masculine and attractive and document that.
Content.
That's it.
Period.
You know what I mean? That's the only thing. Your Instagram, whatever your social media, the consistency of the quality of content that you create is a reflection of who you are. Not just that one photo that you posted, that one
Yes.
photo shoot.
Yes.
People should see over time what the fuck you've been doing.
Literally. And I think the key word there is one that you always harp on, which is congruency.
Yes.
It all needs to match up over a long period of time. We've been
Hmm.
talking about the exact same topics like this for years.
Literally, go through our profiles. I haven't deleted
Years.
shit. You can look through all the way down and see what was this motherfucker talking about in 2015, 2016, 20, same shit.
How did I build structure and
Ah,
how your
you already know who
actual
asked that question.
day is structured day to day? Um, how I built my structure. Can you talk about how you built your structure? How I built
Mhm.
my structure is I realized at a specific place that I had a lot of leaks as a masculine man, which is why I couldn't hold a lot of money at a time because it would leak out. So I was finding myself trying to plug the leaks with money when if the money is feminine energy and the structure is required to hold it, then the money is not going to close the gap, right?
Mhm.
So I'm going to go find shorties and go to high restaurants. And remember, I used to come visit you over at
Utah?
Salt Lake City, staying at the penthouse in
Yeah.
Regency,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Two, 3 bands, right, for a couple of days, and you think that plugs the hole, right?
No.
So it doesn't. The outcome never, right? When I made the big amount of money and then start using it trying to plug the hole, that never worked.
Mhm.
So then I had to really assess myself and say, where am I structurally off? And that's the first thing I attacked, right? It wasn't that I needed to rebuild from scratch. I just need to understand where am I leaking the most, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes that's you attaching your identity to this lifestyle that isn't necessarily you, right? Staying at
Mhm.
the penthouse and all that is a byproduct, right? It's
Mhm.
not who I am. It's just the almost the amplification on an external level of who I am inside. So I had to figure out
Mhm.
where in myself was I attaching identity that wasn't mine to the outcomes that I was getting. And the second I killed that, yes, the outcomes, which meant the cash flow and all of that, subsided a bit, right? So you might go down in revenue a bit, but then you go right back up when you attach it to something that is of value that you can then help other men to see within themselves and create,
Mhm.
right? Because I'm doing it from a place of truth. And so that's how I built my structures, attacking every weak part of me that existed, and then surrounded it with all of the things that concreted who I knew I was value wise first, not based on an outcome. And how do I actually operate with structure every single day? I just don't miss when it comes to the things that I have to do. And if I were to show you, like I have a list every single day, I write this list every day, right? And do what I have to do. So you start to get to those movers, and every single day you're getting through everything. It's just concreting what I already know to be true,
Mhm.
right? And you just continue to do that over and over and over and over and over and over. And then long periods of time go by, and then your structure is just cemented. And where you can refine it, you refine it. But that's really it, right? Structure is really simple to create because you are a masculine man who should be operating from structure already.
And
So,
I'll add on to that too, because I had to learn this the hard way. Every dimension in life that you attack that is your goal, you have to create a system, which is what you call a structure,
mhm,
that allows for that to go passively as you progress beyond it. So
right.
let's start with the first dimension. If it's physical, you create a system at the gym that you
Yep.
can do repeatedly. You don't have to do complicated shit. And you do that consistently, and that becomes your routine. And now that you've gotten to that goal of getting in shape, then you move into the next pillar, which is mental.
Right.
Mental, there's a structure for developing your mind. You have to
Mhm,
follow that structure that you create to make sure that, again, my structure, if you want to copy it, is thoughts, beliefs, emotions, action.
mhm,
That is my
mhm,
mental, that is the simplest mental structure that I've used over the last few years. You have that there, you have thought
yeah.
management every day, cool, that's done. Now you have that structure. Then you go into financial. Now you need a business structure. Okay, what's a skill that I have? What's an outreach system that I can put together to reach out to people? And how do I create this system of business that will start to generate me money so the financial side is taken care of? Now that
Mhm.
you have that, you can also scale it. That's also another level of another structure.
Mhm.
Once you're in the scale part, then you move on to the next thing, right? Which is more of social. What is your social structure? What are the different restaurants you like to frequent to? What are the
Yep.
different flags that you place in your social area so that you can be the man in your local area? Or what are some places that you frequently travel to that you can have as a, what are the friends that you associate with? How do you acquire
Right.
those friends? Is there a social media system that you use, right?
Right.
Then you move in to the spiritual side. Okay, what is your spiritual structure? Maybe it's reading the Bible, maybe it's meditating. Whatever that system is for you, you
Mhm.
create it, you follow it, and then you move on. That's all it is.
Yep.
It's systems. It's not routines though. And that's
Yeah.
the thing that
No.
people fuck up with routines because routines don't necessarily have specific outcomes attached to it. Systems do.
Right.
There's
There's
a
a
difference.
function. There's a function for that.
There's a function for that.
Mhm.
Routines are for maintenance.
Right.
Systems are for growth because you
Right.
don't brush your teeth for growth. You don't brush your teeth to have quote unquote better pearly white straight teeth. No, you brush your teeth to maintain
In
the health
that
of your
that
teeth.
book. Mhm.
That's the routine. The
Right.
system is what you use to grow beyond where you're currently at.
Right.
And it's basically like a flywheel. That's why I always say self improvement is a dangerous place to be because
Yeah.
it's a land full of routines with
Yeah.
zero outcomes.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So
And
that's
and
yeah.
the to jump on that, all of the things that you just said, when you get to a place of actually having a structure with all of these systems, each system go into each other. The way
Mhm,
you work out fortifies your mind. The
mhm.
things that you do to fortify your mind and the thoughts that you have then garnish you a result in your spiritual realm. That'll also then help you with the next thing that you have to do, right? And as you passively and continue to grow, because what you have to then do, I think if we were to go deeper into systems, you have to learn that these systems cannot be controlled by you when you're trying to scale, right?
Exactly.
They need to be on autopilot. You have to
Mhm,
get them outside of your touch. Like you can only oversee them. When I have an issue, an employee calls me, right? And then I'm like, okay, cool. This is what you need to do. This is how you change it, right? And this is where we get into more of the business talk, which is like SOPs.
mhm,
Now you have to now tell them how to operate as if they were you and get the
mhm.
same exact outcome efficiently through
Clone
that
yourself.
very system that you built, right? So they
Mhm.
all go within each other
Sys
nonstop.
Systems, okay, so another difference between systems and routines, systems are created to divorce your time from the
Hmm.
process.
Hmm.
Routines are created to use your time during the process.
Yep.
You never want that. You always want to be able to empty your time.
Phenomenal.
It's a big one. What do you got? Y'all gotta have some good questions in here, man. We over here giving y'all
Wait,
everything.
y'all games. Yeah, 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 yeah. Getting gems today.
I believe Alex Hormozzi's goaded for this. You can give people everything away for free. They still won't do it.
And they still won't do it.
So
That's why
I'm
you pay
I
for it.
give everything. Whatever y'all want to know, I'll tell you
Right.
everything.
Tell you right now.
No
Right.
gatekeeping.
That's why we're here. See here. They didn't like our religious talk, bro.
Why?
It's just fucking around.
Nobody likes the religious talk,
Fucking,
bro.
fucking around.
I didn't like that. My dad didn't even like talking about that shit with me. My dad's a
No
pastor.
one. No one does. All right. Nobody. Oh
But that's the
shit.
thing. Like my goal is to have every man get out of self improvement world
Yeah.
where it's just doing mindless shit, feeling like you did something, watching some reels, some motivational reels. Y'all got to be in the arena doing shit. Y'all got to be
I
out
gotta play.
creating, play the game.
And the funny thing is, they don't even see that the value that they have and the way that they'll produce will help us in ways that we don't even know. Right? So people that are within the game already will take value from you and vice
Yes.
versa. So by
Yeah.
you not even going into the game, you're doing everybody a disadvantage because your story has gems in it. that we
Yes.
might not see in the way that we operate right now. So it's kind of to everybody's benefit if you start playing.
Yes. And the biggest game now, fellas, is content creation. Every business owner is doing it. Professional athlete is doing it. Shit,
Right.
rappers are doing it. Everybody's creating content now because that's how you can express yourself.
Hmm.
That's how you can get people to understand who you are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
All of your value is locked within your story, and a lot of you hiding from telling the world it because you're either embarrassed or you just don't want to showcase yourself. But truthfully, if you understood that we're all on the same journey, some of
Hmm.
us just jumped into the game before you.
You're
It's
right.
not that we're better; we just jumped in before, right? So the longer you wait and the longer you sit there and not jump in, you're doing yourself a disadvantage because there are people that need to hear your story in the way that you've gone through it.
And
It just Yeah, go ahead.
that goes back to the whole masculine energy thing. It's all about the rite of passage. Everybody needs a rite of passage. You have to step into the game that's being played and
Mhm,
start off from level 0
mhm.
and work your way up the levels.
Yup.
So if you're here and you're like, well, shit, my life is shit. I can't create content because what are people going to care about? Well, there are people who are just like you, if not worse than you, that would love to hear your perspective on your thoughts at the moment,
Literally.
that would love to see how you're navigating your life. I would rather watch someone who's just getting started and making progress than somebody
Mhm.
who's already made it years and years and years and years and years ago, giving me recycled information that don't work for now.
Right. Right.
So that's your push to like create shit.
Literally. 200 was it? It's either 200 or $300 billion, maybe even more, will be in the space by 2030.
Hmm.
Content creation is the way. And now is the time. Right? Catch it before it goes crazy. And it's already going crazy. But now you got AI to kind of help you with those very systems that we talk about to get you going.
Somebody
So
said, are y'all familiar with the book Think and Grow Rich?
tired of hearing
Ye-
that bum ass book, man.
Yeah, but to be honest, that book and Rich Dad Poor Dad, if you're still on that book, that says a lot at this point. I mean, if
Yeah,
you're just starting out, great, but
sure.
that is not the foundation as much. Even now, like it's very very different. Step by step, yeah, that those are books to read. But I can't even say that I got the most gems of my life from those books. I actually got that shit from books that you've never heard before.
Yeah.
Beyond Good and Evil by Nietzsche, you read that shit, it's a whole different paradigm of life. You read these philosophers' books, whole different paradigm.
Right. They
All of these
expand
were,
expands your mind. Hmm.
yeah.
They expand your mind. It's a you can read it because you're basically going to read that book to say that you read it.
Yeah.
That's realistically what it comes down to. That book is going to be like, yep,
My
you
mentee
can take
said,
it or
Think
leave
and
it.
Grow Rich, reading Think and Grow Rich is like going to the gym. Literally.
Literally, like you have to just do it.
Literally.
That's a fire
It's
comment.
it's like going to the gym at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I tried to go there and do subscribe. What are your thoughts on low energy and
Ooh,
getting
that's
out
a good one.
the ruts? You want to hit it, or
I
you
can I
can?
can. I
Yeah,
can
go ahead, hit it, bro.
because so the thing that I think a lot of men now struggle with is remaining in a low energetic state, right? Which means they have the low energy, but they can't derive more energy from little micro wins that they have. You have to almost gamify your life to where you are at a point
Hmm.
where you do something and you get a tiny win and you take that and you run with that because life is all about momentum, right?
Hmm.
If you're in low energy right now, it's because you have zero momentum. How do you create momentum? Well, you have to do things, and then when you systemize shit, now you have momentum on autopilot. So imagine
Hmm.
you systemize a business,
Hmm.
you have momentum in that business forever. Even if you're in a low state, that business, as it's already systemized within itself, will give you more energy. It's the same with your life.
Right,
So that's my take on getting out of low energy is finding little pieces of momentum that you can attach together to give you the bigger momentum to push forward and not have low energy anymore.
right. And think about your low energy on even deeper level, right? You
Hmm.
might be giving your energy away to people. You
Yes.
might have the wrong setup around you, right?
Hmm.
So your current identity is it's destroying you. You're degrading your own energy by keeping certain people around you because they're energy vampires. They are
Mhm.
feeding off of your energy. So you're always going to feel like you're in a rut if you're around people who are not feeding back into you. Right.
Mhm.
And the second you step away from that, yes, will it be painful? Sure. Are you going to have to build from scratch? Sure. But what's going to happen is now that that energy that you have left over from now taking it back from the people that's been taking it from you is now poured into yourself, which then gives you
Mhm.
overall better energy non-stop. And then you implement the systems, and now you're doing things that are true to you with the energy that is fueled from you. And now those systems now bring you back more energy instead of having these energy vampires continue to take it from you. And now, not only that, once you have a sustained business over time based upon your energy, and again with whatever you're selling or doing, you're going to be able to spot these energy vampires because you remember what it was to be in a low rut
Mhm.
before.
Mhm.
So
Another
yeah.
thing too, to piggyback off of that, it goes back to again congruency. Every time that you are incongruent, you will be in a low energetic state. It's the same way why you wonder why guys are depressed all the time. Well, we're exposed to social media, we're exposed to these grandiose goals and these grandiose destinations.
Mhm.
Those goals and those things are going to be stuck in your head as things that you need to achieve because you feel like you have to catch up.
Right.
But to catch up, you have to be congruent with that, which means your identity has to align with that. Your actions every day need to align with that. And every day that you don't do it, you will suffocate your energy because you're not being congruent to what you truly want.
Hmm.
That's why you're low energy. The only even if you're fat as fuck, I've seen some fat people with some good fucking energy.
Yep.
Truly, because
Yep.
they're doing some shit that they want to do.
Hmm.
They're doing exactly what it is they want to do every day. So they have very, 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 very high energy every day. The only time you will have low energy is when you're doing something you genuinely do not in your soul want to do that
Right.
gives you an outcome that you always did not want to start with, aka working a job.
Right.
Why do you feel like you're low energy after you get out of your 9 to 5? Because you didn't want to do that
Would
shit.
be there. Hmm.
You didn't want to be there. You didn't want to talk
Hmm.
to the people that were there.
Hmm.
You feel low energy with a woman, that's because that woman is not for you.
Literally.
She wasn't supposed to be around you, but you kept her around because you felt guilty and you felt like you had to.
Right.
So now you're going to have low energy all of the time.
Right.
Energy is all about congruency.
Right. You're not acting upon the things that you know you should be doing. And it
Hmm.
takes way more energy to do things that you don't want to do than to do the things that you want to do. Because once you start doing the shit that you want to do, the energy that you got, the output, the amount of energy you have to put into the thing that you want to do is very low
Hmm.
because it's feeding you, right? It's giving you energy right back as you do the thing that you wanted to do.
That's
So
that's why. And I'm gonna have a wild take on this,
yeah, go ahead.
but I think it's hard as fuck to be a loser right now. It is hard as fuck. It's probably the hardest to be a loser right now
Mhm.
because being a loser requires a lot of energy to do some shit that you don't want to do, which then drains your energy. It's actually easier than ever to be a winner if you
Yeah,
think about it. Because there's less energy you have to put in when you're actually doing the shit that you know you
that you want
want
to
to
do.
truly do.
Right, but the hurdle for most folk is too high. It's too tall.
And
They
it,
don't want to jump over that hurdle to enter the game and get rid of all the shit that isn't good for them or promote their energy.
Mhm.
Right. So yeah, there's a question there that says, can you be with your energy vampire spouse, like your spouse, and still be creating lots of momentum and energy? I believe no. I say no. You can create up into a point, right? So it's not that you can't have momentum, but if we think about the word momentum, it's about sustaining something long enough that it compounds. So if it's compounding energy that you're looking for, and your spouse is getting at you right before you start that compounding effect, you're always losing parts of your energy at
Mhm.
a constant rate. And then think, as you then end up doing sexual activity with them, that's an entire energetic ritual where they're sucking all of your energy out now, right? And so you'll never catch momentum with a person that like an energetic vampire that's your spouse. You'll lose it all.
I actually think you can you can create a lot of momentum and energy to the point where you repel them, to the point
Hmm.
where they now have to exit out of your life.
Hmm.
That's happened to me before, where
Sure.
you're moving so fast and you're doing shit that's so much.
Sure.
And that's why I'm telling you guys, focus on what you truly want to do and put all of your energy towards that, because everybody else who doesn't serve that path will dissipate over time. Your old
Yep.
friends, the person that you think that's near and dear to your heart that you think you're going to be with for the rest of your life,
Hmm.
start to level up. That's the biggest test. If you want to test a woman that you're with right now, start to level up and see if she stays. See if she can actually stay grounded in what you're doing.
And I think it's pivotal, right? So it's a pivotal thing that you have to also understand that you're gonna have to make the decision if they don't. And
Hmm.
so I think we both understand our lives at a more personal level. So I understood
Hmm.
exactly what you meant. But
Hmm.
now, could you then get that monumental success if the partner that you have is a bit more aggressive and isn't the one to run away? They aren't the one to back down, but they're the
Hmm.
ones to sabotage, right? So it's about an experiential thing too,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Because your experience granted you that position, where
Hmm.
my experience didn't,
Yeah.
right? So it's again, it comes from. I think it also comes from the experience that you have, yes, 100%, but your ability to decide
Hmm.
has to be
Decisions.
100%. Your
Hmm.
decision to keep going, even though you understood somebody was trying to take your energy, and my decision to cut off because this
Hmm.
motherfucker is too dense for me to
Hmm.
create, were both decisions that led from a place of I claim who I am and who I desire to be
Yeah.
more than this relationship.
Yeah.
So we either had to let go or level up so much that the person, it's basically just understanding who you're with, right?
Hmm.
Because energy vampires show up in the most subtle ways and the most aggressive ways. And you just have to be able to decide.
That can be a whole fucking topic in and of itself on how to even spot
Facts.
energy vampires, because
Is it?
there's
Go
so
for it.
many of them. There's so many of them that you wouldn't even know that they come in
Mhm,
and they almost like, it's like wolves in sheep clothing, where they come in and you think
mhm.
that they're there to help you, and slowly but surely, and you can tell by the state that you're in after your encounter with
They're
them.
around it.
Like I did this thing where I was looking at, and I was actually watching this woman's video. She's like a facial analyzer, or like a body language analyzer,
Yeah.
and she could literally tell who was the energy vampire in the relationship by the way that the person's face was in that picture.
Yeah.
One of the person's face was drained. You could see the energy was completely gone, and over time, with more pictures that they took, they gradually decayed. The other one was more vibrant,
Mm.
and you can
Hmm.
tell, and there's a certain it's so like, it's called physiognomy. You can tell who energy vampires are based on how their face and how the people around them start to decay over
Look.
time. So
Yup.
if you see someone and everyone around them is failing
Hmm.
and they're not, they're a fucking energy vampire.
Yup.
As
Yup.
brutal as that sounds.
It's true. And some energy vampires show up in ways that you wouldn't suspect, right? Some of them are subtle,
Hmm.
right? Because the wolf can't be around the sheep.
No.
And sometimes it's not that the sheep is literally trying to destroy the wolf, but just proximity, right?
Hmm.
You being a wolf who's supposed to be a killer, being around several sheep is going to dampen your ability to kill,
Hmm.
right? You will then just lose your energetic drive to go after certain
Hmm.
things and adopt like
Hmm.
traits that are not of a killer, right?
Hmm.
So you have to also think about it on that way too. Is your surroundings may be sweet,
Yeah.
right? Energy vampires don't show up like gargoyles,
No.
right? Some of them are literally sweet as fuck and
Hmm.
loving and soft and will nurture you and take care of you, but they don't match up to the person that you are. So you have
Hmm.
to let it go, whether that be friends, spouse, and parents, anybody, right? You have to detach.
And I already know I'm going to get ahead of a question that somebody's probably going to ask in the near future of this. How
Yeah.
do you tell if a woman's an energy vampire? Best test that I've ever done was
Mhm.
ask them, okay, where are my blind spots and where do I need to grow? If they have nothing,
Mm,
why are you here?
literally.
You're around me 24/7. You're around me all the time. You know what the fuck the problem is. Why are you not telling me what I need to do to grow? This sounds aggressive, but it's true.
True.
Somebody who can step up and tell you and see blinds, that's the whole part of having a woman to begin with.
Yep.
Having somebody who can see your blind spots, who
Hmm.
can nurture you when you need to, but
Hmm.
also direct you in the right place.
Yep.
If you have feedback for me based on what I'm doing and you're actually helping me within that, I can already identify, okay, this is not an energy vampire. I'm good.
Yep.
If you're constantly mouth closed, not challenging me in any way, shape, or form in a constructive way, that could be an energy vampire.
Yeah. And if they're pulling you away from the things that build your momentum. So like you said about the
Yeah.
the energetic momentum, it's the same thing. When you start to see a partner that's always looking to have sex with you nonstop when you might be in the biggest projects of your life, energy vampire, because they don't understand or see the value in you getting to that goal that will overall help the structure for the two of you. So they don't give a fuck about you getting to the goal or you getting that increase of energy. They
Hmm.
don't. So what
Hmm.
do? They suck the very creative energy you're using because you're going to be in that state if you're working on something big, bigger than
Hmm.
yourself, and they're using it to sedate their sexual desires from you.
Hmm.
Energy vampire, right? So
And
many
go
ways that they come.
and going beyond that too with friends. If you
Mm,
have friends when you are at a lower point, or if you're at a sort of like a standstill,
mhm,
and you don't talk to them, or maybe you reach out, they don't really talk to you, or vice versa, but
mhm,
then when you start to have motion and you start to have momentum, they start to
mhm.
sneak back in.
Yup,
That is an energy vampire.
yup.
100%.
That's facts.
Every
That's
time.
facts.
And I've experienced that in my life many times, where
Over and
there are
over.
times, and me and you talk, even at our lowest points, we talk to each other, right?
Yeah.
But we also have friends where I'm sure you've experienced this, where the high point, they're there,
Yep.
they're riding the wave with you, and then when
Yep.
the low point comes, nowhere to be found
Yep.
at all. And
Yep.
and it's not even like they have to carry you or anything like that, but just have some checkpoints every once in a while. That's not an energy vampire if you have that. If you
Right.
don't have that, and they're popping up when you start to go up in life, every time you start to make that push, you see them pop up.
Mhm.
That is an energy vampire. That is
Right.
taking your energy for themselves to increase their own capacity when you find that stride.
And to double down on the friends one because one of them popped up in my head immediately
Yeah.
is um when you're in a position where you're at your most abundant or potential to be abundant and
Mhm.
people withhold information that
Mhm.
could help you elevate because they're so far ahead that they understand exactly the point you're at, but they
Mhm.
it's almost like they gatekeep, but they do it in a subtle way that just keeps you in their periphery so that they feel like the god of the group.
Control.
Control, right.
Mhm.
And it feeds a part of their ego that if you were to go away and everybody else who they might have in that periphery view goes away, they lose a part of that ego that comes with what they're doing, right? They
Mhm.
lose it. They lose that ability to keep themselves ahead. And so you can also spot people who just want you to be on the boundaries to
Mhm.
glorify their own success because they view you as a threat, right?
Mhm.
And some of your friends see the value in what you're doing and how fast you grow. And if they had
Mhm.
given you one tidbit of information, you'd surpass them, and they can't have that. So what
Mhm.
do? They keep them inside just close enough so you feel like you're being heard, but they don't give you the keys to allow you to grow.
Mhm.
Energy vampire.
100%. Somebody said, "Is self pleasure like the hub and energy killer? Is it ever okay, or have to stop altogether?" I can touch
Yeah,
on that. I got
yeah,
like 5 more minutes before I got to
yeah.
take this
Straight.
call, but
Nah, you do your thing, bro.
I mean, yes, 100% is an energy killer, because even on a level that people don't like to talk about, you're tricking your own biology into thinking you're getting something that you're not getting,
That's enough.
which by default makes you incongruent. And what did we talk about before? Being incongruent kills your energy. So every
Yep.
time you watch some shit, every time you engage in that type of activity, you're literally going against your actual desire to be with a real woman, because you know it's a pixel on the screen.
Yep.
So now your energy's drained, because, and that's where depression comes along. A lot of people who go into that space and they're on the hub and they do all that, they suffer from crazy depression,
Mm-hmm.
because they're basically shooting an arrow and they want to hit this specific goal, which is a real woman,
Mm-hmm.
but then they self-sabotage and they go for the easy arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that arrow hits, they're like, fuck, this is not the same as what could have happened if I went for that arrow.
Yep. And then
That's how I think about it.
you lose your ability to actually go after the real target when you go into public spaces,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Because you've sedated your own killer instinct or your ability to polarize because you're doing it via digital
Hmm.
platform. When you get
Hmm.
in front of an actual woman to do that actual thing to get that actual outcome, you don't know what the fuck to do because that whole entire energy sequence or formula is fucked up, right? So you can't even polarize a woman that you should because now you've already castrated yourself by watching digital um,
100%.
glorification or satisfaction.
100%. It's like playing a video game. I know some of you guys play video games. You're sitting here playing the game on easy mode. There's a
Hmm.
veteran mode that you really, really want to play because you know that's the place that you want to be. That's going to prove to you who you are. You say you are, but you
Yep.
stay in easy mode. You stay in
Yep.
easy mode, and then you get mad because other people are playing on veteran mode and they're winning and you're not. And
Hmm.
you stay on that easy mode forever and you never improve. You stay. If anything, you get worse.
Yep. Yep. And then you claim to identity to the easy mode.
Yep. Now you become a permanent gooner for life.
um, and lastly, because yeah, we do got a slide. Being alone isn't lonely. Facts. Being alone means you know yourself. And I literally my whole subject and pain point of my sequences on socials today is about this very topic. Being alone
Mhm.
versus isn't lonely. Because lonely is when you don't know yourself and you need relationships to identify who you are. And being alone is that you understand yourself so that you don't allow relationships to diminish who you know you are.
Mhm.
Right? Are you guys any killers?
I think there's a difference between solitude and isolation, for sure.
About 1,000%. 1,000%. Anyways, we do got a slide there, bro. No,
Yeah.
for real.
But appreciate you guys
It
for
was
hopping
big.
on. Again, Dwight's socials will be on there. Everything
Yeah.
will be on there. You guys can tap in with him. I'm gonna add that to the description. This video should be uploaded in the next hour or so. This live started like 116 minutes ago. So what, like shit, that's a minute.
Two hours ago. Yeah. Pretty
Yeah,
much 2 hours ago. But we'll be
2
back
hours
on
ago.
Wednesday. Next week, Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So I appreciate you guys,
yes,
and
sir.
we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah, it was great, bro.
Yeah.
Cool.